Well, before the Independence Day parade, we were having quite a very interesting conversation with elder statesman Adebanjo, who at such an advanced age is still going strong and so passionate about his beloved nation, Nigeria, after many years of playing a very important role in the evolution of the nation. Fortunately, at this point, we are also being joined by a former governor of Anambra State, Dr. Chukuemeka Ezeife, as we continue to tap into the invaluable experiences of those who have contributed to the development of this nation. Good to see you, Your Excellency.
All right, and of course,
Elder
thank
Statesman
you,
brother. Very good. Thank you, sir. Of course, Elder Statesman Adebanjo is still with us. It's indeed a privilege to have you two elder statesmen revered. Let's start with you, sir, Dr. Chukuemeka Ezeife. So, since Nigeria's emergence to nationhood, where we were and where we are now, do we have any cause to celebrate, sir?
My brother, please, let's thank God. There are some countries that don't exist anymore now. And we fought a war for 3 years. There are countries that have fought wars for decades and they are still fighting. There are always reasons to thank God. Yes, I think instead of lamenting our failures in Nigeria, please allow me to make two suggestions. One concerning Nigeria, the other one concerning the international stage. Yes, I think concerning Nigeria, we had hit the bottom. And we should go back to God. But unfortunately, God will not be happy with us because God gave us an assignment and we have not achieved it. What's the assignment? God wanted Nigeria to develop into a superpower and to raise the dignity and respect of all blacks on earth. What have we done? Have we raised the dignity of all blacks on earth? No. We have generated shame to the faces of all blacks. So, what do? We can, of course, go back to God and pray because God did not give us an assignment and not give us how to, and not enable us to achieve it. No country is more gifted than Nigeria. And my brother from the southeast, we are to enable Nigeria achieve superpowerdom in the economic field and help to contribute to the running of the world. This is our destiny. Yes, look at it. Any way you look, the climate, the plants, the animals, and the minerals, human gift. We have many talents from many tribes. We are gifted by God to develop into a superpower and so to raise
I'm not supposed to hear you.
the respect and dignity of all blacks on earth. We should go to it now. We have hit the bottom. We must now change.
All right.
Let me make this suggestions I want to make. Just then you can take over. Number one, 53 years ago, we were able to produce refined product from crude oil. Today, we are still shutting down illegal refineries. That should stop. If we had allowed the illegal refineries to develop and improve for 53 years, should we talk about this, whether we should subsidy or no subsidy? And this torturous situation we are in Nigeria, can it exist? So, I suggest that the government sets up a body to encourage local refining of crude oil. They give access to crude oil to our young boys, and then develop criteria for producing quality petroleum products. That is something we must engage now. Second, I want to make a suggestion for the international United Nations and African Union, ECOWAS, it is. And we are told that democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people, by the people. The by the people is a matter of the process of selecting leaders. Election. That is where the greatest problem arises for democracy. Now, simple. The body to conduct election in any state or country should not be from that country. Because if a government is in place, it likes to stay on. So what we should do is let ECOWAS set up electoral body for all democracies in ECOWAS. The same can be done by the African Union. If the United Nations had been making progress, by now they should have had electoral bodies in various parts of the world. Because the moment you have a government participate in election and control the electoral process, there is a problem. So, what I have said is this. One, Nigeria should develop local refining of crude oil. Two, the world should develop independent external electoral bodies.
All right, Dr. Ezeife, we've taken these 2 points. You please do not go anywhere because we still want to tap into your wealth of experience and knowledge. But let's shift our attention to Pa Adebanjo. Pa Adebanjo, listening to Dr. Ezeife, one question actually rings out. The economists call it the paradox of plenty, whereby we see these things happen in several African nations. We have large natural resources, and those natural resources seem to be our own worst enemies because the people are not benefiting from it. Hence, they say leadership is at its lowest ebb. As we are looking at Nigeria 63, is leadership our biggest problem? If not, what do you think has held Nigeria from achieving greatness?
Thank you very much. My protest for keeping me to watch a program that I am not interested in. You invited me here to talk about Nigeria position, not to watch the bad parade of my oppressors. I object to it. I am not happy about it at all. Came back at 10 o'clock to come and watch those who are oppressing me. I'm not keen about it. That's by the way. Now, coming to the question of where you got it wrong. The details explained by Dr. Ezeife is okay, but I don't go that way at all. As I was saying before the break, the fundamental thing in this country is our constitution. Any progress we want to make, the people must agree to the constitution under which they are governed. And the point I was developing is that the constitution under which our founding fathers accepted or was granted independence was toppled by the military. And that's the beginning of our war. All the question of the devolution of powers, state police, all this or that we are talking now, have been settled under the independent constitution. And that was why we are living in peace in the First Republic. All the federated states at that time were competing among themselves. There was no question of anybody going to Abuja for dole. The way to distribute our revenue had been settled under derivation. Constitution was federal. Each federation was autonomous. It was coordinated with the federal government, developing at its own space. That is the fundamental basis of our convention. Unfortunately, the military came in and toppled that in 1956. And all the gains of independence, all the gains of the Constitutional Conference of 1954, to settle all the government were returned by the military by giving us by returning us to a uniform of government and imposed this present constitution. Ezeife was talking of the process of election and all that. That was not what we handed over to independence. The question of Egbesu, Biafra, Igboho, they all arose as a sort of putting aside the constitution under which we granted independence. And until you go back to that, but no problem, we are talking of a home, we are talking of this. But we are being ruled by people we didn't elect. That was what Ezeife mentioned. All the question of regularity in the process of election is a product of the awkward constitution imposed on us by the military. That's the beginning of the war. And the present president is a product of the fight for democratic constitution. When the military said they are going back to the barracks in 1966, 1999, the action group, which is very now, and let me correct you, we are not a cultural organization, we are political, cultural, and religious. We are a political organization. It's under that system. We contested the election in the First Republic. It was under that system. We went to the Constitutional Conference for the constitution that was acceptable to all, by which Dr. Ezeife, Sardauna, and Awolowo agreed to live together in peace. But the military came in 1966, put it aside. That is why you should go to. All the problems you are having now arose about the fraudulent constitution imposed by us, by a section of the country. Many of us are living in denial. That's the problem. Do we make this constitution? The constitution gave us 77 local government. On what basis? Who agreed to it? It gave us 36 states. Who gave us 36 states? On what basis? It said that some states have more, some regions have more states than the others. Just changing the Southeast. And when we ask you to bring it back to equality, you say no. What is the basis? One of the states created by the military is not of the local government, it's of your state. These are the inequities in this constitution. And until that one is rectified, don't tell me about any progress. Every evil we are having now is a product of the imposed constitution. Let us sit down and go back to the constitution of independence. And there's a short way to it. Don't tell me it's going to take some time. The 2014 constitution took the independent constitution and other recommendations to constitution. If you say you don't want what Jonathan recommended, take what the APC recommended under Rufai.
All right.
Put it together and move forward.
Very good.
You can't move forward under a constitution, but
yes, sir. I'd like to thank you very much for that point, and of course, we do apologize for keeping you waiting earlier on. And hopefully, we can get that audio issue resolved soon. Dr. Ezeife, when in Nigeria's checkered political history did we have the opportunity to get things right and set a path towards national development devoid of ethnic configuration or primordial sentiments, sir?
I think it's a question, please.
The question, sir, when in Nigeria's political history did we have the opportunity to get things right and set a path towards national development devoid of ethnic configuration or even primordial sentiments?
Yes, I can answer that question very easily, because when we had our independence, October 1960, I led a group in the night, singing and beating drums all over the place where I was in Anambra State, because there was hope. We thought everything was going to work. We had everything. We had also education. And then we were doing very well up to 1965. And the World Bank said it clearly that parts of Nigeria were growing faster than the rest of the world. Then there was a coup in 1966. Since then, it has been downhill. And now we have hit the bottom. It is really bad because the military who ruled us, ruined us. They used both religion and ethnicity to cover up some deficiencies in the management of the economy. And since then, we have going from one level of corruption to another. And now we have reached comprehensive corruption. Whether it is church or mosque or union or any section of society, there is corruption there. And until even now, everything is collapsing. The values we used to have, the values I used to grow up with, don't exist anymore. Even in Igbo land, people are killing people with knife. And that is, my friends from the north tell me this, worst stories. That some bandits take over communities, collecting taxes, and doing whatever they like. So, going home for Christmas, whether you are in north or south, now is becoming a problem. So, I think we have to go back to the beginning and begin to resuscitate our values. The people who colonized us ruined us also. They are the people. Look at France was taking uranium from Niger at 80 cents per kilogram. While the international market was selling uranium at more than $200. Can you imagine that? Now, also, we made mistakes, but I don't know. First of all, God gave us everything. And as a result, we were lazy. We could go to the bush, collect something and eat, and enjoy our lives. The white man, on the other hand, was suffering from environmental problem. And they kept working hard to survive. And eventually they hit a process of continuous improvement. Then they looked at us and said, are these people human? That was the starting of slave trade. And of course we lost heavily because of the slave trade. Because our superiority, or at least not inferiority, in brain power and physical power have gone down because of social disgrace. So, what do? We should go back. I heard a good story yesterday about one of the towns in Anambra State. One rich man there decided to stop the decline in economic activity. He got some boys, trained them, and allowed them economic freedom. And I'm told that in Uli today, there is quiet. There is no longer the insecurity we know in other parts of the Anambra or Enugu or Imo, Abia, Ebonyi, everywhere insecurity. And that is very unusual for that part of the country.
Well, all right, let's turn our attention to Pa Adebanjo. Chief Adebanjo, let's pick it up from where we left off the other time. And you were speaking about the Constitution and how the Constitution has laid a very, very faulty premise for this country called Nigeria. If there is something that has always been ringing in the air when we get close to election seasons, has to be that word restructuring. A lot of people have spoken about restructuring. Now the question is this: do you think we ever get to that particular point whereby we will get that restructuring implemented? Or are they just words being thrown around to probably get people excited? And secondly, the 2014 National Confab brought some of the best minds together. We're given autonomy to actually stir this nation aright, or probably propose solutions to the many misgivings. It never saw the light of the day. Talk to us about this. If that particular policy document was not implemented, then what can we do to ensure we begin to right the wrongs and begin to set aright all the misgivings being enshrined in the 1999 Constitution as amended?
My dear, I know the history of the country is so long and so complicated. That's why I summarize it by saying change this constitution. You say something has not been possible to do. Why? There's no will on the post government to do it. Which government will change the constitution? The government that is enjoying the iniquities in the constitution in favor of a section of the country? That was why 2014 was set up. It was the best assembly we could have in this country, comprising of dignitaries from all walks of life: Muslim, Christian, religion, youth, trade union, religious body, everybody. All those who are talking about constitution today there. And when Jonathan was going to hand over to Buhari, he said, "This is the best thing I'm handing over to you." But Buhari put it aside. And then when they came into power, they deceived the people or the APC that they are going to implement restructuring. Restructuring is not a strange word. It's not a magic name. Restructuring only means go back to the federal constitution under which we come back. Before then, we have sovereign national conference saying that if the military are going back to the barracks, let them go back with their constitution and let us go back to the constitution we had at independence. If you are not going to do that, then summon another constitutional conference for us to agree on the constitution. All the problems under this constitution today were those contained in the imposed constitution by the ministry. Take for instance the question of revenue allocation. It was a derivation we had at independence. It was the military, because it was in favor of the North, that imposed revenue allocation on the basis of land mass, on the basis of population, on the basis of things. All conditions that are not available in civilized countries. I tell you, one of the things that is causing trouble. This is the only country that goes against geography. The geography that I learn and people learn is that the nearer the desert, the fewer the population. In Nigeria, the nearer the desert, the more the population. And you now use this forced population to divide legislative assembly. By that, you rule the country. These are the things there. So when I summoned them and change this constitution to what we had at independence, so many things are involved. The autonomy is no longer there. You are now talking of the devolution of powers, state police, and all that. These are all things that are embedded in the independence constitution. Where should we go back to? If you are not going back to that, let us sit down again. How can it be impossible to do it?
Very good.
The thing is that those who are ruling us, this thing is echoing you. Those who are in power are those who manage the constitution to suit them. And we have been saying that the northerners who compose majority in the majority in the army. People are fighting shy to say it. That is our problem. All the things we are complaining of today, this and that, they are all things contained in this imposed constitution. After Babylon says it, everybody says, change this constitution to federalism. You say, why is it impossible? It will be impossible, then you continue to be in the doldrum. Where are we going? Because the people are, those who are ruling us are not the representatives of the people. They are the people who read themselves there. The corruption has been established under the constitution. It has been institutionalized. All because of the constitution favor corruption. A corruption where the political party will compel you to deposit 100 million to contest an election, even in their own party. How can a common man come out? These are all the things contained in this constitution. So that all that must be changed. You don't know who the councillor in your area, that the councillor is chosen by your governor. You don't know the member of the House of Representatives, it is nominated by the governor. You can't have your right until you know somebody. These are all the evils under this constitution. And until you change the basic thing, as Ezeife said, go back to basic. Then all these problems you are talking about will be solved. The question of equality, the question of state police, education and all that. And this formula constitution allow the government of the day to cancel history. Therefore, they don't know our past. These are the problems, my brother. Anyone that is our leadership, is our kid. The leadership we are talking about, how do they emerge? They emerge through fraud. And until that is corrected, you are not going anywhere. That is your misfortune. That is why people like me, I'm not happy. I say, don't tell me about any happy independence. Those who enjoy independence now say they are not happy. What about those of us who fought for it? And we know what we fought for. The first republic by Ezeife, Saldana, and Awolowo were the best that we have in this country. And all the government of the world commended us. There was competition among the states. There was the competition in the north, in the west, in the east. When the west built a university, the east does the same thing. But what is happening now? Those who are in the north now found a collaborator from the west to continue to rule the country together against the justice of the case. That's why we are in this nose wrong. Until we are prepared to face the truth. Every one of us, we fight shy. We can't speak truth to power. That's the truth. Whatever you are planning, going to a ECOWAS, you must be good at home before you go to abroad. And foreign policy is an extension of domestic policy. You are not democratic at home. You are not fair at home. How can you project that abroad? Is your government democratic? You want to preach democracy to other countries? Go and look at your people and then be fair to yourself. You don't live in denial. Call a spade a spade. You have a federation, one a section of the country is controlling the rest, and finding allies in the other part to continue to rule forever. And then we say, change the constitution. They say they're changing it by installment. Change the devolution of power. Let the mineral come back. Let police be this. Let us sit down again and form whether we are going to live together in Nigeria. Until you do that, there is no peace. There is not going to be peace. This constitution is not ours. And anything you do under it is fraudulent. That's the bottom line. Don't waste your time by saying, is it the leader? Is it this or that? If you go into all that, we will finish this program. Because we can handle all those who have been ruling us. How do they come about? So those of us who know the origin of the country, they are sad. Those who say they don't want to live in Nigeria, they are now forcing Nigeria on us on their own terms. We won't accept that.
All right,
You
interesting.
say the Biafran people are complaining. You are discriminating against them under this constitution, and you want peace. How can you have peace? You have been president. The North has been, the Southwest has been. When the constitution of the Southeast, you say no. Everybody should throw it abroad. Every political party will begin to change their constitution in order to do injustice. And you say you want to have peace. You can't have peace. So that's the point, Mr. Moderator. All other things you are just beating about the bush. If you are not prepared to speak the truth, you should do it. The Southerner came out and said, well, don't let the workers stop their strike. He has not addressed the question that the workers have been complaining about bad government, about the inadequacy of their salary. They are suffering. They can't go to work because of transport system. You remove all the subsidy without providing palliatives. The problem is, before you say you remove subsidy, workers are saying, well, give us palliatives to cushion the thing. And the Savdana and Tinubu are talking about, let them be patient. What have you offered the workers to cushion their suffering? Nothing. Just be patient. To be patient, you are expanding your belt. You are asking the others to tighten it. The palliative you have, you give 70 million to parliamentarians. And you are all right. You have not offered a kobo. And so you have been saving a lot of money under the petrol subsidy. What have you been doing with it? These are all the process of this constitution that produce a bad government, that produce a fraudulent government. You can never get anywhere until you change this constitution.
Very good, Pa Adebanjo. Enlightening prospects there on the Constitution, and of course, you've also highlighted the shortcomings there. Dr. Ezeife, if you're still with us, I'd like to focus on the theme of this year's 63rd anniversary, which is renewed hope for unity and prosperity. So my question to you, sir, are we at that threshold yet? There's been promises made by the political elite over time, but unfortunately, we're still at crossroads.
We are farthest away from any such, because what Pa Adebanjo has said is the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We had at independence a workable constitution, and in 5 years working on that constitution, the World Bank said that parts of Nigeria were growing faster than the rest of the world. Then there was a coup. And then from 1966, Nigeria was ruined. The constitution was ruined. And when we talk about restructuring, there's really nothing new. Go back to what worked. Go back to what worked. Go back to 1963 or the Independence Constitution and make progress. Achieve God's assignment to you. Some people don't understand what we mean by restructuring. When they hear restructuring, they think only of resource control. And they believe that with the resource control, the oil money cannot get anywhere else except where it is mined. That is not restructuring. There's no way you can take a decision and deny all Nigeria what they are used to getting. We can reorganize our mining. we can have national, we can make it national, nationalize it. But those in whose land we are getting the product, the crude oil, the gold, the diamond, the californium, the uranium, etc., they will get a percentage of what comes. And then some percentage will go to federal government. And other percentage may even go for saving. So we are not saying restructure Nigeria and deny anybody revenue allocation. No. We are saying restructure Nigeria so that Nigeria can begin to work again. We were working before. So, what's your different question now, please?
All right, sir. I was talking about...
Can I get the question?
Okay, I'll give you the question, sir. I was talking about, well, you've just given us a preamble on the fallout of the Constitution as well. But talking about the theme of this year's celebration, or rather the anniversary, renewed hope for unity and prosperity. I asked, are we at that threshold yet? There's been more rhetorics about, promises being made.
Renewed hope.
Yes.
Renewed hope for unity and prosperity.
Yes.
Irony, Yoruba will say Iran, Igbo will say Mba. We are taking giant steps away from unity and prosperity. But our God can turn face on us and things can change abruptly. And we now go back to the basics, go back to beginning. Anybody who is deceiving himself are talking about unity and prosperity right now. It's, we cannot kill the person. Let him kill himself. But what I'm saying is this. This is the time to go back to basics and begin to bring our values back. Our values also were in the Constitution of Independence. Bringing back the Constitution that works is something we owe ourselves. Some people don't understand. My friends from Fulani, sometimes they don't seem to understand that they are better off in a Nigeria that works than just being on top. Being in a Nigeria that works is good for every group in Nigeria. But the present Nigeria cannot work as it is. Our best man in politics, Adebanjo, has put everything the way it is. He doesn't mince words. He is Mr. Justice. Two of us call ourselves different names. Public enemy number one. But that is the best politician in Nigeria. So let us forget illusion and go back to the teachers in primary school. Go back to the pastors in churches. Go back to imams in mosques and begin to teach basics again. And try to adopt what works. Let meritocracy come back. Not all the way. There may still be making sure that some people are even bad. But let meritocracy come back. If you don't have meritocracy, you're going nowhere. So the country, Nigeria, is bound to rise to the highest level. For many decades, how I end my letter is, yours for Nigeria as a superpower. Yes, today we are headquarters of poverty headquarters of the world. But I know that with what is available in human, in material, and other resources, Nigeria is bent for upward movement. But we haven't started upward movement. We have just hit the bottom.
All right, so let me turn my attention to Pa Adebanjo as we try to wrap up this particular discussion. Pa Adebanjo, you've highlighted and enumerated several of the key problems that is bedeviling the nation Nigeria. But my question to you is this, because listening to you, you can almost lose hope. But the question is, where do we hit the reverse button and begin to accelerate? What do we need to do at this moment in time? Because according to the PDP presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, he says we're at a crossroad, a very pertinent crossroad. What can we do to reverse this trend so that we can have a Nigeria that is better for myself and the generation after me?
Thank you very much. It's very simple. If we are honest of keeping Nigeria together, the solution is simple. Let's sit down and agree on the constitution that is acceptable to every federating unit. That is our problem. That is what the so-called, those of us who are talking about one Nigeria, you are paying lip service to, including many of our leaders of the North. As Ezeife said, you see, I don't want to go into the problems of this that I just summarized. Let the North, the leaders of the political leaders in the North, be prepared to be in Nigeria acceptable to all. Not in Nigeria of their own choosing, not in Nigeria of their own condition. Once that is agreed upon, we have arrived there. What is difficult is sitting down and saying, how do we live together? How did we agree at the London Constitutional Conference summoned by the colonialists? And we are living together. As I said, all the problems you are having now is the problem of the caution of the military that they impose this constitution on us. All the disagreements we are having now are those people there by the military, not by our founding fathers, not by the colonial office. You can't fight shy of that. Our northern brothers are there to dominate, not to rule. And nobody will accept that until you face the reality. You're just pretending. Don't let us live in denial. What is the problem in sitting down to agree to a constitution acceptable to all? All that you are complaining of, everybody is saying it is not our constitution. You have not denied that. And you are saying, how do we go? The problem of this country, why I very supported Obi to be president. To be president is the only way to achieve what we want to restructure the country. We don't support Obi because to be president, but he's the only person who can do the right thing by creating an opportunity for us to sit down. Restructure the country, as Ezeife said, restructuring is not a straight thing. You just say, go back to where we met us. Go back where the ministry changed us. Go back to the constitution agreed to by our founding father when we are living in peace. Even as Ezeife said, maybe social resource control. No. Resource control has been settled in 1954 at the London Constitutional Conference when our people agreed on derivation, where the source of the place, the source of the revenue will retain 50%, and 50% will go to the center, and for the center for us to distribute. Is that not fair enough? This question of 30% there, 10% there, is innovation of the North to cheat the South. And you're now telling us what is to be there. The natural resources of each region were there before the colonialists amalgamated us. And if you want to be fair, my support for him is not because I love Obi or something, because I want fairness. If you are not going to be fair to every section of the country, then let everybody go away. But the condition that which a multinational, multi-religious country like ours can live together is under federalism. Go to America, go to India, go to Australia. The movement to keep to the tenets of federalism, the question of resource control, state police, are solved there. The law in Houston is not the same thing in New York, and then they are still there. The state of Texas is the richest in America because they keep their resources and send percentage to the center. But you want to keep everything. I want to share more than the owner. That is the problem, my dear. Don't let us beat about the bush. What can we do? We know what to do. We are only reluctant to do it because it doesn't favor us. If we all agree, if we are all sincere about keeping this country together, let's sit down and agree on a constitution acceptable to all, that is fair to all. And then we get there. Until you do that, you are just beating about the bush.
Indeed, facing reality and not being in denial. Those are apt words. Pa Ayo Adebanjo, Afenifere leader, and of course, Dr. Chukuemeka Ezeife, former governor, Anambra State. Gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for being a part of this special program. It's good to have you with us.